This is going to be my second little video from JavaScript 2 Step by Steve Sewering from Chapter 13, Working with Images in JavaScript. The first video that I did right before this one was a very simple image rollover where you had these images and when you rolled over the mouse it went to a secondary image, and I made each of these images in Paint, so they're very simple PNG images. But you see I've got three: orange, lime, and blue. And then when you roll over it, you have this rollover image. So there's actually six images total. The rollover image has a star and the cursive word rollover, and the default image has no star, and the text is the same: home default, blog default, and about default. I have three different browsers open here. As you can see right here, this is Google Chrome, and here is Internet Explorer, and the largest one here is Firefox. And the reason that I have all three shown like this, well, obviously you want to test your code in more than one browser for cross-browser compatibility. And in my head of the test.html web page, I have a set of style tags where I let the image have a height of 22%. And because of that, when I make my window the height shorter, my images are 22%. And then as you get larger, you have larger images. And as you get a higher window, you have even larger images. So you don't have to do height and width, just the height, and it maintains the aspect ratio. All right, let's get from the top to the bottom of this test.html. And this is also utilizing an external JavaScript file that's called ehandler.js, and I will go over that code as well. I'm not really sure how to explain it, but I'll just read it line by line. But first, test.html. This is the web page that you're actually looking at right here. HTML, head, title. I gave the title image rollover using DOM and onload event. Again, I gave the style of the image tag a height of 22%. That's the end of the style. This line number 9 is the link to the ehandler.javascript, the external JavaScript that helps make this work. If you don't link properly to this ehandler.js file, or you don't have the ehandler.js file, this code will not work. So you have to have both files, and they both have to be in the folder together. So script type equals text / JavaScript, source equals ehandler.js, and script. Okay. Starting with line 11 to line 31, we have a script in the head here. We're still in the head. Function rollover. Var images equals document.getElements by tag name. Don't get it confused with getElement by ID. This is getElements, plural, by tag name. And the tag name that we're working with here is the IMG tag. This is what the IMG tag looks like, and there's usually attributes in there as well. But by tag name, in parentheses and double quotes, IMG, and there's the ending semicolon to end that statement. The next statement, line 14, var IMG length equals images. We created images right here, dot length. And when I first ran this code, it actually did not run correctly. When I rolled over all these images in these different browsers, I was not getting the secondary image with the star on it. I wasn't getting my rollover image. I was only getting my default. So I decided to poke an alert box in here, and this was how I was able to test where my code was functioning or not functioning, because here we're creating a variable with the name of images, and then we're taking the document getElements by tag name IMG. Then we're taking a new variable, and we're saying images.length. So we want to know how many IMG images are in our body, which is down here. If I go down here more, you see IMG in green. I have 3 image tags, and as you can see, there's 3 images in each one of these browser pages. But anyway, I used this alert. Where'd it go? Oh, right here, line 16. Alert. The string there are, plus I wanted to see what the value of image length was. And then I concatenated the value of image length with the rest of this string in double quotes, image tags in the body that will get mouse over and mouse out events that change the image. Alright, so now that I've uncommented this line 16 out that gives us this alert, let me, when I refresh this page, it says this page says there are 3 image tags in the body that will get mouse over and mouse out events that change the image. Click OK. At that point, magically my code worked just by popping that alert box in there. So I don't know if I woke up the browser or what the heck I did by putting that alert there, but at that point my rollovers started to work where they didn't work before. So sometimes when you get a block of code and it doesn't work, before you pull all your hair out, stick an alert box in different places in your code and see if you can notice line by line where it's functioning and where it's not. Okay, and if I click refresh in Internet Explorer, we get the same thing. Pop up that says there are 3 image tags in the body that will get mouse over and mouse out events that change the image. Okay, and same thing with this one. There are 3 image tags in the body that will get mouse over and mouse out events that change the image. Okay, and we already have been showing you that these work just fine. So I just wanted to show you that little ditty about the alert box because it's a way to troubleshoot your code. Alright, so I take it off and I can refresh this and just double check, yes, it still works. And of course, test, and test some more. Because anytime you change a line of code, it could actually break your code. So it's still working. Alright, so let's look at line 18 now. We have a for loop. We've already created 2 variables. And we grabbed the image tags and we put that in images. Then we used images.length to see how many of those image tags we had, and we put it into this variable called image length. We tested it by outputting the value of image length in an alert box with some string attached to either side of that number. Now we have a for loop. We're going to create a counter for var I equals 0 as long as I is less than image length. And remember, I told you the value of image length is 3. We tested it right here in the alert box. So as long as I is less than image length, increment I. So I starts off as 0. Image length is 3. So is I less than 3? Yes, that's true. So that means that we are going to run this because this condition in the parentheses of the for loop is true. So that means yes, we're going to execute. We have this thing called eHandler.add images with an index of I, which right now is 0. Then we have in double quotes mouse over and then another comma function I. Then inside of this curly brace we say return function, and then inside of this curly brace we have images, the index of I, whatever it is, which at this point is still 0, dot source equals images. Everywhere you see I, all of these green I's, the first go about, the first loop, the first iteration of this for loop, I is equal to 0. So everywhere you see this I, you're really seeing a 0. So images 0.id equal plus the string underscore rollover dot ping. And then there's the end. You see the red matching curly braces. There's the end of that internal of the return function. And I just don't know how to explain this, but it works. So just type the code the way you see it. This red curly brace belongs to this one. And then you've got I in parentheses, and this is a final parenthesis and a semicolon. So really I can make a space here to make this easier to read. You have this for loop. If this condition is true, we have this eHandler that deals with the mouse over function, And this also deals with this external ehandler.js generic handler function that I'm going to go over after I finish this. And then we have another, it's like basically this is a copy and paste. They copy this, paste it right here, and then we change a few things. Up here, we're dealing with the mouse over function. Down here, we're using the mouse out function. And here, the images i.id plus this extension underscore rollover ping, and this is images i.source images i.id plus underscore default ping. So the mouse over here, when you mouse over the image, you're going to get the rollover version of the image. That's the last part of the name. Then when you do the mouse out, which is here's your over, out is going back away from the image, you're going to deal with the image that has this ending underscore default.ping. And if you remember, I named these with underscore rollover or underscore default. If I go in here really quick, I can't do anything really quick, I guess. Yeah, see, here's my ping images. About underscore default, about underscore rollover. Blog underscore default, blog underscore rollover. Home underscore default, home underscore rollover. So let's get that out of the way and get these back up. All right. All right, so there's the for loop, and it's going to loop through these for as long as we have image tags. So if I were to go down here and add and just like copy and paste all of this so that I have double the number, and then just change the names to other names of other images I might add in my folder, then this function would still work. It's not only for these 3 images. It will work no matter how many image tags you put in there. All right, so there's the end of the head script that is just this function rollover. Okay. Now we have body with an onload event of rollover. We're actually calling our rollover function as soon as the page loads. It's going to call that function. As soon as I open this up, it's calling that function. Now, inside the body, there's 1 paragraph tag, 2 paragraph tags, and 3 paragraph tags. Because I have my images in paragraph tags, they are lined up from top to bottom. If I take the images out of the paragraph tags, these images will be lined up from left to right. I just wanted to let you know that you can display your images inside of paragraph tags if you want, or not, but you get a different layout if you take them out of the paragraph tag. So if I save this and I refresh each of these pages, well, now I look like a liar because everything's stuck. Well, when I did this earlier, I didn't have them in paragraph tags and they were left to right. There we go. This one did its thing. And they work the same. As you roll over each of them, you still get the star rollover image. These are taking quite a while to do what they need to do. Or allow blocked content. Wow. There we go. There's Internet Explorer. These are the images not in a paragraph tag. Whoa. And you see how they Wow. But now I'm not getting, I get my rollover here, but for some reason I'm not getting my rollover for Internet Explorer. Oh, there we go. Okay. So now that's working. And Firefox is still playing around with the code. Open it up a little bigger. I didn't really need to do this. There we go, left to right. So see, our image tags run in line. So if you have multiple image tags now, one right after the other, what you're going to get is all the images running in a line. If you don't want them in a line, if you want them boxed on top of each other, then you put them in paragraph tags and you'll get them from top to bottom. Okay, so these are all the rollovers are working good again. And actually, when this opens wide enough, it's left to right, but when it's this narrow, they just fall on top of each other. They just stack on top of each other when it's not wide enough. Okay, again, if you don't like them to float like this, then just put those image tags surrounded by paragraph tags. And I could just hit my Control Z multiple times and get all my P tags to just come back. And we'll save, and we'll save. Okay, so paragraph tag, image, ID equals home, name equals image underscore home, source equals home underscore default dot ping, alt equals home. We're going to do the same thing for all three images. Inside paragraph tags, image ID equals blog, name equals image underscore blog, source equals blog underscore default dot ping, and alt equals blog, and p tag. There's the last paragraph. Image ID equals about, name equals image underscore about, source equals about underscore default dot ping. It's the whole name of the picture, image, alt equals about, and p. All right, now finally we have one more script that's in this. Oh, that's weird. I didn't see an ending script tag here. That's not good. There. Now I have opening and closing script tags. Maybe that's why my browsers were acting funny. So in the body, right before the end of the body and the end of the HTML, we have this final script, and it says var body el for, I guess, for body element maybe, equals document.getElements by tag name. Well, this tag is just the body tag. We don't have more than one body. But this body tag is going to be affected. And I'm not sure how to explain this zero as if it's a zero indice, but that's part of the code and it works, so make sure you add that. And so this is the first line here, var body L equals document.getElements by tag name body 0. And then eHandler, which this has to do with this eHandler.javascript that I haven't gone over yet. It's got an add method, eHandler.add, body L, which we created right here, comma load in double quotes, comma function, and in the meat of some curly braces, we're calling the rollover function. And so you call the rollover function like that, rollover, parentheses, semicolon, and here are the pair of the curly braces, and then you have this final ending parenthesis that belongs to this opening parenthesis, and then you have the final semicolon that ends this entire statement right here. The end of the script, the end of the body, the end of the HTML. So that's everything that belongs to the web page content, all the HTML from top to bottom. Now let's look at that external JavaScript that's like our generic handler. All right. And the reason the book said we needed this is because of how Internet Explorer uses the this keyword. And I'm not going to go into trying to look up exactly everything the book said, but this works, and so just have this. Var eHandler equals, and you have an empty set of curly braces. In line 3, we have an if condition. If document dot add event listener. Then in line 4, we have eHandler dot add equals function. And we have in the parentheses 3 different things. Element, comma, eType, comma, efunc. All right, line 5, we have an if condition. If eType equals load. Then in line 6, we have another if condition. If type of window.onload equals function. And then in line 7, we have var existing onload equals window.onload. All right, so then in line 8, we have window.onload equals function. Don't forget this. Don't forget the curly braces or the parenthesis symbols, because I'm not always reading those. In line 9, we have existing onload. In line 10, we have efunc. And then we have the end here, the ending curly brace for the window onload function. End existing onload handler. Okay. So if this is true, then it's going to do this. If it's not, we've got an else right here that is going to do window.onload equals efunc. There's this outer if. If this is not true, then we have this else that says element.add event listener, and then in your parentheses you have again, actually they're different. Instead of up here being element eType and efunc, we have eType, comma, efunc, and then comma false. I wish I could explain these statements, but I really can't. I just know they work, so just copy it the way you see it. And there's this ending curly brace and this ending curly brace. In line 20, we have eHandler dot remove equals function element, comma, eType, comma, efunc. And then in the meat of this set of curly braces, we have element dot remove event listener, eType, comma, efunc, comma, false. Okay, so this curly brace belongs to this. So this right here is the end of all of this. Okay, this is the end of all of that. Then in 25 we have this else if document dot attach event. Line 26, eHandler dot add equals function, and in parentheses element, comma, eType, comma, efunc. If eType equals load, if type of window.onload equals function, var existing onload equals window onload, window.onload equals function, existing onload, efunc. And there's the pair right there of those curly braces. Then there's an else. If all of this goes on, then this happens. If that's not the case, then else window.onload equals efunc. Then here, this whole if this is not true, then this else runs, which is element.attach event on in double quotes plus eType, comma, efunc. All right, so this curly brace belongs to here. So all of this from there to there goes together. And then in line 41 we have eHandler.remove equals function, and in parentheses element, comma, eType, comma, efunc. And inside this set of curly braces we have element.detach event. Again we have on in double quotes plus eType, comma, efunc. So there's the ending curly brace for this eHandler remove, and this last curly brace right here is for this entire else if scenario. And that's the end of the eHandler.javascript. And that's the only two files that we have to actually do this. Create three different image tags with default images, and this is a more complicated way, and giving more experience to JavaScripts and functions, and using more than one file that communicates with each other to basically give these image rollovers. So you start off with 3 images, but you actually have 6 because of the one that you can't see until you use your mouse over. Alrighty, and that's it for this one. And after this one, I think there's one more about creating portable rollovers. So I'm not really sure how much different the code will be, but I'm sure it'll be a little bit different than this.